What do you want me to do?
Awesome. So welcome everybody today for this presentation and the reveal of the OWNI AI demo and MVP in progress. I appreciate everybody coming out today at lunch, and all of those who registered will receive a copy of the recording and the download link. Sorry, not the download link, but the link afterwards, so that you could create your user profile on the app. So today we're going to talk about OWNI AI, the new vision of home buying and real estate investing, and this new approach of collaborative real estate. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lin Sok. I'm the co-founder of OWNI AI. I have a background in financial services, and here in Montreal, I also run the community Women and Money Montreal. And the very idea for this app came from the clients I serve and the women that I speak to in the community. We are trying to find a solution for a problem that's not going to go away. And that problem is buying a home. Once upon a time here in Canada and the US, buying a home and investing in real estate was the dream and it was the goal. You were supposed to finish school, start your career, find somebody, get married, buy the house, have kids, live happily ever after. But it's not the same anymore. For those of you who have children who are around same age as my kids, who are older, in their teens and early 20s, they're just not running to get married anymore. A lot of people are choosing to stay single. A lot of people don't want to be single, but they are. And there are people who become single later on in their life. It's just become unaffordable. We hear the stories all the time. Some examples of the very people I meet, and obviously I've changed the names for privacy reasons, but meet Lisa. Lisa is a single mom. She has stable income. She receives additional income from the government because she is a single mom. She has good credit. She has a decent down payment, can't afford to buy a decent sized house. And as a renter, she always fears that she'll be rent-evicted and have to face a new landlord or new landlords who might not be open to renting to a single mom. As somebody who was a single mother of four, it's not like every landlord is open to the fact of accepting a tenant who is single with four children. Even though we're not supposed to, landlords aren't supposed to discriminate, this is what happens in reality. Meet Kevin. Kevin is single with no kids. He has a stable job, but average income. He has good credit, and he has only some down payment. Kevin fits into that category of people who make that 60 to 100,000 a year. So it's considered stable, average, but all he could afford really is like a $250,000, $300,000 condo and not anywhere close to where he works. Meet Amanda and Matt. So we've addressed single people, but just because you are married with kids or married doesn't mean that you could afford to buy a decent sized home either. Amanda and Matt, they work very hard. They have stable income, but it's average. They do receive additional government income because of their kids. They have good credit and they have some down payment because of some, as some of you know, raising kids is expensive. So they've only been able to put aside some money for a down payment. Meet George. George is recently divorced. He did all the things that you're supposed to do in life. He went to school, started his career, met someone, got married, had kids, bought a house. But as many Canadians and Americans and people all over the world, you do the right things, and then in your 40s and 50s, there's a breakdown in the marriage and you find yourself single later on in life. He also has stable income, but it's average. He did buy a condo post-divorce, but budget is a little bit tight. He's on one income and no longer two incomes like when he was married. These are common stories that we hear. Every single one of us knows a person who fits into these four categories. There might even be some of you watching this Zoom who fall into one of these categories, and these are the real stories. Let's take a look at the facts. What has happened with housing? In Canada, the average household income is $115,000 a year. The average house costs just under $700,000. If you are earning the average annual income and you want to buy the average house in Canada, you would need, in today's dollars, because I just took a look right before the Zoom, you would need a down payment of $230,000 to purchase the average house in Canada. And even if you had that money, your mortgage payments would be about $2,800 a month. It's just become unaffordable. The problem is it is hard to qualify for a mortgage, especially as a single person, for a mortgage on a decent sized home. And even if you can afford it, it's unaffordable, the mortgage payments. The other problem that we have, and today is election day, I purposely scheduled today's Zoom on election day because the policies and programs are just band-aids. Policies and programs that government suggests, they're just band-aids and they don't attack the real solutions. This is not a political Zoom, but let's look at some of the policies or changes or programs that have become available. Recently, the government increased the amount that you could use within the home buyers plan as a first-time home buyer from $35,000 to $60,000. But what if you're in a situation where you can't save up for a down payment, or you can't save up for a big enough down payment? That is a band-aid to the problem. A lot of people have a hard time saving up just to $35,000. So increasing the amount that you could put towards a down payment of a home to $60,000 isn't going to help you. Another policy, another promise, a campaign promise that the candidates who are going to be elected today, that we're all going to vote for, one of the programs that they want to pass is to eliminate the GST for first-time home buyers. Fantastic, except GST only applies to new constructions. And as we know, even if the government throws a bunch of money to new constructions across Canada, how long is it going to take to build those new homes so that first-time home buyers can purchase them in order to take part in that program? For those of you who don't know, the province of Quebec has received or is in the process of receiving close to $4 billion from the federal government since 2023 to build affordable housing. Now, sounds great on paper, but who are these homes for? And a lot of times they're not for the average person. So what is our solution? OWNI AI is an app that matches individuals with their ideal co-buying partner to purchase a home or invest in real estate property. So think of Tinder. We call OWNI AI the Tinder of home buying and real estate investing. You create your profile and you look for your ideal co-buying partner to purchase a home or invest in real estate with in hopes of qualifying for a bigger mortgage, increasing your buying power, as well as making the mortgage payments more affordable. So let's take an example. In the beginning, when we started, I mentioned Kevin. So Kevin is interested in OWNI AI. He's just sick and tired of not being able to afford a decent size condo. That's all he's really looking for. Kevin is single, no kids. He works full time, stable income. He's a teacher. He earns about $80,000 a year, and he has a down payment, a decent down payment of $25,000. Based on his profile, what he can afford and what he qualifies for is a condo of about $325,000, which ends up being a mortgage payment of $1,700, not including the condo fees. He's not really liking those numbers. It's expensive, and condo fees are about $300 to $350 a month. He's not really looking forward to spending $2,000 a month on just housing alone. So he's on the app to find someone to potentially co-purchase and cohabitate with. He finds Peter. Peter is in marketing, also single, no kids. They're around the same age. Peter doesn't earn as much as Kevin. He makes about $60,000 a year, but he did receive a bit of an inheritance, so he has a bigger down payment. He has $50,000. So earning $60,000 a year, has a down payment of $50,000. His buying power is only $260,000. That's how much he could buy. For those of us living in Montreal, there isn't much out there in the $260,000 range. His mortgage payments would be decent, comparable to a rent at about $1,200 a month. So imagine these two go on the app, they find each other, and they're like, let's explore this option of co-buying and cohabitating together. I mixed up the names. It's not Nick and Peter, it's Kevin and Peter, but you get the idea. Combined, their buying power now increases to just over $600,000 as a purchasing price. So it opens more doors, it increases their buying power and what they qualify for. In terms of affordability, now that they're two people, their mortgage payment would be around the $1,900 to $2,000 a month. Split in two, that's about $1,000, let's say $1,000 to $1,200 a month. Much more affordable for both of them, and it opens up more doors. It financially becomes viable. So what are we looking for today? Our ask is to help us find the Lisas, the Kevins, the Amanda and Matts, and the Georges. If you want a little reminder, Lisa is the single mom. She does all the right things, but she's single and she's by herself. She would love to find another single mother to buy a bigger house with and that they could raise their children together. We just talked about Kevin. Kevin's the single guy making, $80,000 a year, doesn't have a huge down payment, also doesn't want to live in a $300,000 condo in the basement in the middle of nowhere. You have Amanda and Matt. They do all the right things. They're just trying to raise their kids. They make decent income. They have somewhat of a down payment, but they always worry about getting rent evicted and paying rent. They just want to secure a roof over their children's heads. And then you have George, the guy who did the things that you're supposed to do. He went to school, had the career, found the partner, the spouse, got married, bought the house, had the kids. But as half of marriages do in Canada and the US, unfortunately, things happen. And later on in life, him and his wife divorced. And in his 50s, he wound up having to buy a condo for himself. He's only making average income, and it's tight. It's very tight on your own. So we're asking you to help us find these types of people. Like I said, there may be people on this call who fit into these categories, but all of us know at least 1 to 2 people who fit into these profiles. Our target users are people who would explore the opportunity to co-purchase with somebody and cohabitate with them. We're looking for people who want to invest in real estate, but they're tapped out. They don't have anybody else to purchase with. Even if you're already a real estate investor, sometimes you reach a point where you have so many doors and you just have nobody else who will buy the next property with you. We're looking for people who are open to buying a seasonal chalet, but they don't want to buy it by themselves. Why not buy it with somebody else or with another family so that they could split the costs? Maybe you're somebody who's considering buying a property in another country. My husband is Greek and he always talks about buying a property in Greece. Problem is, we live here. So finding a way to make it affordable and viable to purchase in another country. Back in the day, we used to have timeshares. So it's not a concept that's completely foreign. We're just doing it differently. We're also looking as a long-term plan for people who are interested in buying a property together that will help serve a registered charity. As a lot of you know, I'm somebody who gives back, but in order to give back, you need money. And what better way to give back and pool together money than to invest in a real estate property that will serve a nonprofit organization that supports women who are escaping domestic violence situations, to organizations who help single men who suffer from mental health and don't have family, to buy a property for those who are unhoused so that they can have some dignity and find a way to contribute and to contribute to society again and be supported. Are we able to find 100 users who are open to any one of these scenarios and get them on board on this app? The purpose of today is to show you what the demo is, and we're looking for feedback. What we're looking for feedback, for those of you who are joining in late, right after this Zoom, everybody will receive an email with the link to the demo where you could create your user ID and your profile on the app. We want feedback on the onboarding process for the moment. So we want to know in the About You section, how much are you willing to reveal about you? So far, we have your full name. You have the option of creating a username without using your real name, your age, your gender, occupation, bio. Is that too much, too little? How much information are you willing to give about yourself? We also want to know how much information are you willing to provide about your project. Is it for personal use investment? Do you already have a pre-approval? What's your budget range? What are you looking for? Your preferred locations? And what information do you, as a user who's on this app trying to find a partner, what information do you want to know about the other person? So that is the feedback that we're looking for. For those who are not techie, this is called the minimum viable product, and the objective of the MVP is to test the viability of this idea. As some of you who've known me and seen me on this journey, I'm completely passionate about this. But just because I think it's a great idea doesn't mean that people will actually get on the app, create their profiles, connect, and join and complete transactions. So the purpose of the minimum viable product is to test the viability of this idea. Can we get users on this app to complete transactions? Those of you in business understand that completing transactions translates to sales, it translates to revenue, and that's how we could keep track of the progress of this app. What are some of our targets as a business, as a platform? We need to close 1,000 transactions on this platform. If we assume that the average transaction is $400,000, so $400,000 represents the average mortgage amount per transaction, that will generate to roughly $1 million in revenue. Where did these numbers come from? How do we generate revenue? OWNI AI is a lead generator for mortgage professionals and real estate professionals. And this is using real life numbers because, as some of you know, I'm a former mortgage broker as well as still a financial advisor. So we need to close 1,000 transactions. So basically get 2,000 users to connect to complete those transactions. And if we're attacking just single people in Canada, just that demographic alone, there are 2.5 million single renters in Canada. So we're looking for less than 1% of just that demographic to get on this app and to close these transactions. So I need your help. I'd like to introduce the team. There's myself. There's my co-founder and CFO, Vasilia Sodzoglu. If you have any, if you're interested in being an early stage or angel investor, please reach out to him. We have Jia Zhang, who's been the UX UI lead and my shoulder to cry on for the last year, and Olivier Simon, who is the technical lead, who is building the MVP. We are a Quebec-based company. Why are we the ones to solve this problem? A lot of people ask me, well, aren't you afraid of other companies coming and copying your idea? Listen, when a business is good, other people will copy. It's not something me as a co-founder I'm really scared about. You could copy the idea, but you're not going to copy me. You're not going to copy the co-founders. You're not going to copy the storytelling. Why are we the ones to solve this problem? Because we have over 20 years of experience in financial services. Like I said, this platform was created from the very clients and the community that I serve. Why are we the ones to solve this problem? The 3 S's. Understanding that sales is what drives revenue, and we're going to drive sales through storytelling and scalability. So there is never a time where real estate is accessible to everybody. So as time goes along and as the market changes, we will adapt our PIN, our target market, depending on what is needed in society. We are a platform that helps solve the problem of access to home buying and real estate investing, something that was once a staple. You just finish school, get a job, buy a house. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not the same anymore. And we're going to grow this community through community building. I did this with my financial services business, with my Women in Money Montreal community. We are going to start organizing OWNI mixers. So what are OWNI mixers? They're basically on a regular basis 5 sets, happy hours, events, whatever you want to call them, where people who are open to this idea of co-purchasing, maybe a little worried, maybe a little scared, and they want to meet in person other people who are potentially open to this. This is how we're going to create trust on this newer concept on a scalable Thank you so much everyone for attending today, and those who are watching the recording afterwards. You will receive a copy of the recording as well as the link to create your profile. And again, what we really need right now is to test the viability of the app. So if you know somebody who is single and can't afford to buy a decent sized home on their own, if you know a couple that's open to purchasing maybe with another family so that they could increase their buying power. If you know somebody who's going through a divorce and they're in their late 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're like, I can't believe that I've been a homeowner all my life. I can't believe that I'm going to be stuck in a $250,000, $300,000 condo, and they'd be open to purchasing with someone. Lots of digital nomads out there who don't want to buy because they're never in a place for longer than half the year. This could be an option as well. If you know anybody, please share the link. Tell them to reach out to me. I'm easily accessible. Our first target is to get 100 people on this app. So yeah, and get this feedback. Thank you so much. If there are any other questions, you'll get my contact information. I'm easily accessible. Thank you once again. If you didn't vote, go out to vote. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.
Thank you.
So I stay?
No, after my